Namaste. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, everyone. Hope you have been having a great time for the past few days and have been learning about a variety of technology in OG Yatra 2020, an online webinar series. As Vinay mentioned in the previous session, unbelievably, this is the 10th day of OG Yatra. And hey, I've got another fun fact. Sorry for stealing this one, Sai. But in a parallel universe with no COVID 19, today is the day where we would have begun our 15 city tour. And boy, don't we all miss it. So wondering what OG Yatra is all about? OG Yatra is a 14 days online conference with 125 plus hours of learning, 7 tracks, and speakers from all across the globe. We also have 60 plus Oracle Aces, Java champions, Groundbreaker ambassadors, and many other technologists joining us in this festival of learning. Now hang on, OG Yatra is not just about tech. Like in the pre-COVID era, we are still trying to bring our community together and provide a platform to interact and network. We also want to encourage you to be a part of the Oracle ACE program. Now, to help us understand what this program is all about or how to get in or what the benefits are, we have 15 Oracle ACE directors, Groundbreaker ambassadors, and Java champions here to share their journey as a part of a 3-session series. Moving on, before I would like to take a minute of your time and introduce you to AIOUG, that is, All India Oracle Users Group. We are one of the largest Oracle Users Group, and Sangam is our flagship event, our yearly annual conference that's held either in Hyderabad or Bengaluru. We do realize that sometimes not everyone can reach these cities. So, during the Groundbreaker tour or OG Yatra, we try and bring all the speakers to you, to your city. In fact, last year we covered over 10 cities, and hopefully next year we will better this. With AIOUG, we always have had a tradition of selfies. I mean selfies with 100 plus people. Unfortunately, again, we can't have them this time in a webinar. So instead, we've got something different. You can see the poster on the screen, and we would like to request you to kindly take a snapshot of this or take a snippet and use the handles hashtag OGYatra and hashtag AIOUG to most importantly, thank our speakers for their valuable time and support, especially since they're taking their time out on a Saturday to interact with us. So use Twitter as it's one of the easiest platforms to connect virtually. And again, tag our speakers, use the handles, and hey, you can also show some support to your local users group and thank our volunteers. With that, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to everybody and hand over the session to Sai.
Super, Aishwarya. Thanks for inviting and welcoming us. So I just want to spend a few minutes on this. I'm just trying to bring everything into one slide because, you can find a lot of information on the Oracle ACE program website. So basically, Oracle ACE program is designed to recognize and reward members of Oracle technology application communities, right? So these individuals are technically proficient. I think you can find a lot of technical people, but important thing is willing to share their knowledge and experience. That's the key of this program, right? And there are 3 levels. You can see that Oracle ACE Associate, Oracle ACE Director. ACE Associate is something like a base level entry into program for those who are just getting started. Maybe you're writing blogs, maybe you're supporting forums.oracle.com. So if you're doing something on that era, so you can actually nominate yourself, or you can ask any one of us to nominate. The next level is Oracle ACE. It's more of established community contributor, like maybe, again, there is no timelines. Maybe you are spending last 2 years and helping the community. Definitely you can apply for this program. So the last and the highest level is Oracle ACE Director. It's more of you are taking a second job of apart from your primary job. It's basically helping the community constantly and connecting to the product managers, providing the feedback to all the products, again, not all the products, specific to your products. So we have around 425 ACEs globally in 48 countries. In India, we have 25 ACEs. So this is why we basically hosting this sessions to bring that knowledge so that you can hear from these global leaders in this call and understand what are the benefits. Let us understand their journey as Oracle's or Groundbreaker ambassadors. I think here we have, we have Rolando, right? So let us listen from them. Also, so what are the ACEs do? As I mentioned, writing blogs, posts, articles, books, answering a lot of questions in community.oracle.com. Another thing, conferences, presenting in conferences. I think these days everything virtual. It is easy to present. You don't need not required to travel. So that's way these are the contributions. And also this program started in 2003. The second one, you can see there's a Groundbreaker ambassadors. We have around 70 Groundbreaker ambassadors globally. The few difference between Oracle's program and the Groundbreaker ambassador is, Groundbreaker ambassadors are talk about cloud. That doesn't mean that Oracle's directors are not talking, but it's more of the developer type of community. For example, they may be presenting in microservices, DevOps, cloud native, all those technologies. Okay. So also their conferences are like most of the time it's non-Oracle conferences. Like in India we have Developer Summit or DevOps in US, right? Again, this whole program is annual recognition program. So once you are in this program, you need to prove yourself like you are really constantly contributing, and that way it's every year. Jennifer and team actually evaluate this program and see if you are really contributing or you're already dead. So that way they will recognize you. And the last one you can see Java Champions. Again, this program is a little different. Java Champions are nominated by existing Java Champions. And one good thing is once you're Java Champions, it's for lifetime. So there is no, what to say, there is no evaluation, but doesn't mean that most of the Java Champions are nominated because of their contribution, right? So what are the benefits of this program? Again, we will listen from each member here, but basically it's like, you can normally, as a ACE director or Groundbreaker ambassadors, we normally get a product briefing directly from, Thomas Kurian previously, but nowadays, yeah. So it's that level of recognition, and you can directly talk to all the product managers and SVPs, VPs of that particular product. You have a direct interaction. You have a direct access to the development and product management. So you can be part of beta testing. All this influence you can do. And also a travel support for Oracle's directors and Groundbreaker ambassadors. I think this is not the right time for travel, but we really get a lot of support from Oracle program. And that way, at least for me, I used to connect with. I have seen everyone except Karen, but I met everyone using this opportunity as an Oracle's director and Groundbreaker ambassador. So much more benefit. So with that, I'll stop myself and let's hear from our members here. So here is the sequence. So first one is Adele. Why don't you share, about yourself and your journey becoming an ACE director, and let's keep it. I think we have to cover everything in 60 minutes. I'll come back again with more questions.
I will keep it short.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, Adele.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. So my name is Edelweiss. Everybody call me Edo. I'm Oracle ACE director. My area of expertise is analytics, big data. I have been working with Oracle technologies for more than 20 years. And how I became ACE director, it was funny because it was, we never heard about the ACE program in Uruguay in 2009. But we know that there were people that goes, the speakers goes to other countries and do a conference. In fact, we decided to have an Oracle user group in order to get people here that, just find a way to put Uruguay in the map. No, I'm from Uruguay, by the way. Uruguay is a South American country, very low between Argentina and Brazil. So this is the view from my home, by the way. And we never had that opportunity before. So until 2010, we didn't have the opportunity to have, great speakers to come here in Uruguay. So nobody knows that Uruguay exists, by the way. And also we want to have the opportunity to people to not spending a lot of money trying to travel to other countries like Brazil, for example, or Argentina or Chile, in order to go to one of these conferences. And our top objective was at that time that Tom Kite, came to our country and participated again. So that was the objective, to share knowledge, but also to receive these people and put the country in the map for everybody. And we did that. And when we have our first OTN tour in 2010 that Uruguay participated in that. We have all these amazing speakers that came to Montevideo, and we realized about the ACE program. So in my case, I have the lucky that one of them was Hans Forbrich that see me presenting. He saw me presenting, and he said, you have the quality to do this. And I didn't know anything about the program. So I like the idea to share and to participate and to share knowledge and to learn, because this is not just one direction conversation, right? You will learn a lot in the path. So that is why I started doing it. It was like a coincidence, by the way, but it was amazing. It was amazing travel. I learned a lot. I meet amazing people. I think that one of the most important things for me, it was the possibility to all the first travels I paid, all the many years I paid for my travel, right, to be presenting in conferences. But it was amazing the possibility to meet other people, to share with other people the same thing that you want. So that for me was amazing, and obviously it was a very good for my career too.
Super, Edel. And next is Ron.
Hi, Ron Eakins here. I haven't got such a beautiful view, but that behind me is the South Downs in the UK. So I'm from the UK. I work for a company called Pure Storage. I work in their office of the CTO as the Oracle Solution Architect for Pure. I've been using Oracle technology for nearly 30 years. Started out really as a COBOL programmer using Pro COBOL, and then moved more into the database side and Oracle Business Suite and applications, and picked up sysadmin and developer skills and DBA skills. So I've been very fortunate for my career to have lots of opportunities to learn lots of things. And very early in my Oracle career, I got involved with the UK Oracle User Group. And I've been going to UK UG events for over 20 years. And eventually I got confidence to present myself locally at different events in the UK. And when you go to these events and you speak, and you see people engage with you and are interested in what you're saying, you feed off that. You get pleasure. You realize that your story isn't just for you; it's for other people as well, and you can all partake in that. So it was a really interesting thing to do in the UK. And then I started to go to other events in Europe, and I saw the same speakers at different events. So then we started to talk about the ACE program and what it meant, and it was like, okay, yeah, that's something that sounds very interesting. So I did a bit of reading up and talked to other people that were part of the program, and put myself forward. Went through the process and went through the tiers. So you start as I said, as an associate. So I became an Oracle ACE associate, and then got promoted to an Oracle ACE, and a couple of years ago I got promoted to an ACE director. And the opportunities it gives me is not just to speak to my local community in the UK. I've had opportunities to go around the world, and I think without the Oracle ACE program, it'd be very hard for me to justify that and with my employer. So this gives me an opportunity to say, can I go to Oracle Open World and see Oracle product managers and do the briefings, because it's a great opportunity. And speaking gives me that chance, and also engaging with other speakers and other delegates, because every person that goes to a conference, whether they're a speaker or they're an attendee, have their own story. So I always try to make time in the evenings and over coffee, breakfast. It's a very long day at a conference, but to try to speak to as many people that want to speak to me and find out about what they're doing. Thank you, Simon, for letting me speak today.
Yeah, super, Ron. I think it's very important, right? So we are globally connected and we learn so much stuff. I think we can share that one. So next is Michelle. Share your journey. I think looks like you're sitting in Hyderabad,
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I miss India this year very much. I've been there 2 times last year, and now I'm sitting behind my desk at home. But yeah, it's the way we got to deal with it. So I'm from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands. I work with Quality, and Quality is in a consultancy company, and we're an Oracle partner, and we do a lot more technology than only Oracle, but Oracle is the main angle we are in. And I come from a different view. I wasn't an Oracle database, and I didn't do anything with Oracle. Starting my IT career, I started with Unix, and later on I started with middleware and WebLogic and Tuxedo and all those kinds of things, and did more in development corner with integration during the 2010. And when Oracle acquired BEA with WebLogic and all the technologies inside, then I also got more involved in Oracle technology, and I wrote 2 books in 2011 about WebLogic, and after that I became an ACE in 2012, was it? An Oracle ACE director. ACE associate wasn't there yet at that moment, so you became immediately Oracle ACE. And during those years you get more conferences, first locally, and then I got more globally, talk about my favorite topics and subjects. And I first noticed a bit that a lot of the Oracle user groups were focusing on a lot of database technology, but now I can see that they are also focusing on more new emerging technologies, open source, and applications, and all those different angles. So I can see also more public is joining also those sessions. So I'm very enthusiastic to talk about my technology, about what I know to the public, and also see the engagement of the public, which is really very difficult at the moment. After a screen, I'm talking about against a digital firewall. Actually, I don't see anyone. You don't see any responses. But yeah, it's what we have to deal with. But yeah, talking to the public and engaging and see the reaction and answer questions. Those are really the fun things about being an Oracle ACE, and also spreading the word about Oracle technology. Sometimes outsiders think you are part of Oracle and that you are some kind of a director, actually. So some kind of a member of Oracle team. And someone quoted me sometimes, and they based their project cost on something I said, should have said to them, advised to them, because I was an Oracle ACE director. So I said, well, I'm not an Oracle employee, but I love the Oracle technology, but also being critical sometimes about it. But yeah, that's sometimes you also have to deal with. But yeah, I would everyone to encourage if you like to speak. I'm from naturally not a speaker, but yeah, you will learn it through the years, and being in the center of the attention, it's very fun to do. When you're done, then you're very satisfied. So I would encourage everyone to start such a journey. It's also, you can learn by doing certification. That's one way, but you also can learn about doing research about emerging technologies, new things. Try it out for yourself, get some credits in the cloud. For instance, Oracle gives all the ACE directors free credits in the cloud, so you can try everything you want, and draw your own conclusions if a technology is something for your customer or not. So I would encourage everyone to look at it and what it means. It takes a lot of your time as well, but yeah, that's something you get a lot of things in return for that as well. It's the same with children. They say it takes a lot of time, but you get a lot of love. Well, now you get a lot of love of your public. Okay, well, that's about what I have
Super,
to tell about
super,
it.
Michelle. I'll come back to you again. So, Karen, welcome, Karen. So, why don't you introduce yourself and your journey as an Oracle East director?
Much better, much better. Hello, I'm Karen Cannell. My company is TH Technology, and thank you so much for having me. Right now, I do mainly Oracle database, Apex application work, starting to do some visual builder work, and I'm really excited about that. My journey to become an ACE started by attending conferences, just like the OG Yatra, and I asked to volunteer. And they said, well, we need people to review papers. And back when we had papers, when we all wrote white papers, I think some of you guys might remember that. And then I reviewed conference submissions, and the people I was working with said, well, where's yours? And I said, well, I don't present, I just review. And they said, no, next year you present, you submit something. And I was positive they just rigged it so it got accepted. But I started presenting, and after that sheer terror, then it's fun. But it's terror at first, that first time you get up in front of and unless you're one of those people that just loves to be in front of people. And I'm not that, but every presentation I've done, I've learned more than I thought I knew. I mean, I thought I knew it, and then you start putting it together for a presentation, and I learn more. And then someone will ask a question, and maybe I don't know right then, but I'll research and I learn more. And now I've got a feel for, if there's something when I'm learning a tool that I don't understand, then there's probably a lot of other people out there that don't understand. So that's presentation material. And now it's a challenge to, okay, what's good for next year, or what's the next new thing to present? And so now I've, when you put up that slide with all the faces, oh my gosh, I'm looking and I know a lot of those people because I've been going to these conferences. And I got to tell you right now, I'm missing my people because it's not just the presentation and then we're gone. We gab afterwards, and we go to dinner, and we meet each other at breakfast, and we meet each other for coffee, and we do things at night or at lunch, and you get more friends. And it's kind of like we're friends that talk technology, and if we don't know, we learn. It does take a lot of time. I was an Oracle ACE associate, I think, for a long time. And what I was doing is I was an editor for the ODTUG technical journal. And as an editor, none of that counted towards my ACE status because it wasn't my material. So once I got that hint, I started writing more and getting out there. Finally got to ACE, and then was really psyched to get ACE director, and it's just investing the time and doing the presentations and the work. And now I'm loving the non-travel, but I still get to see you guys. And I did the APAC tour, absolutely loved it. So did it again. And my husband looked at me, he goes, so what, I told him I got ACE director, and he's like, so what do you get? And I was with a whole bunch of ACEs and ACE directors, and I looked at everyone, I said, so what do we get? And they're like, we get to travel, we get friends, we get, I get to learn. You gotta be someone who loves to give back, because, you know, I didn't get a raise. I work for my own company, so I didn't get a raise, but my boss is very generous and lets me go to a lot of these conferences, and I get I learn, and I'm one of these people that thrives on learning. So my recommendation to anyone out there listening is volunteer for your user group. You have a very active user group in AIOUG. There's lots of opportunities to get involved. Little ways, big ways. It's how much time can you put into it? I guarantee you will get more out of it than you expect. You'll get more out of it than you put in. And that's just how it works. And so now there's this collection of us that love to give back because that's how we've learned. And this is not my view behind me. This is my happy place. I swim, and when I can, and I did sneak out a week of travel to my happy place beginning of June when they let us go. And all of us, you know, we're IT people, we're online all the time. The last thing I want is another hour or 2 or 3 online. So I need to get in the water to stay balanced and stay sane. And I hope all of you find your little balance thing to, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. It's really important, right? I think we have 1, 2, 3 users group leaders. I think we can ask more questions on users group here. So I'll come back to you, Karen. Thanks for that. Rolando.
Yes, thank you, Sai. So yes, I'm Rolanda Carrasco. I am from Mexico. I have my own company. So I just created the company back in 2008, 2009. So it's been more than 10 years now running my own company. I used to work for Oracle, and actually that was my first contact with the Oracle ACE program, because back in 2005, 2006 or so, I was working for Oracle and I was nominating people. So by that time, there was another person running the program, and I think it was by the name, maybe Sai remembers her, it was Vicky Lara. And Vicky was constantly asking people to nominate other persons to join the program. So I was nominating people from Latin America, because by that time there was not so many people from my region actively having a place in the program. So I started with that. So that was my first contact with the program. So I was looking for people, looking for candidates to join the program, and getting to know people who was already contributing with the community, and that I was not realizing, or I was not, I mean, I didn't know them, but they were already doing that. For example, they were writing books. So there was a couple of people from Latin America who had published books. So I was kind of surprised by that, and just follow me with this idea. But I was kind of surprised that they were already doing that, and they were living in Latin America and already publishing books of technology, and they were kind of famous at the same time. So that was kind of surprised me. And then when I saw that they were accepted by the program, and that kind of, one thing was that I was very happy for them, because I saw that they really enjoyed to join the program. And then when I left Oracle and I started to see the program was growing, and the impact that these people had in their careers because they joined the program, then I was talking to myself saying, okay, I need somehow to get into that. Not because I just wanted to be there, because I knew that I can be part of that, because I was already doing things for the community. Well, I was already contributing with nominations, for example. I started my own blog that was back in 2006, 2007 or so. So it has already 13 years now. So I've been doing this thing about contributing with the community. I was very active in forums because my background was targeted similar to Michel's in terms of Tuxedo and WebLogic and People Process Manager and all that stuff. So I was very active in forums helping people. So I just realized that I can do that. And then it came the opportunity to fill the form and submit it. That was in 2010, 2011, but I was rejected. So by that time, again, was another person running the program, and that person just explained me, okay, so you do have the things that needs to be done in order to be part of the program, but you are just contributing as an Oracle employee because you used to be an Oracle employee. So now you are not an Oracle employee. So you need to do it on your own, and you need to do it on your own terms. All right. So that was kind of hard for myself. So I kind of said, all right, so I need to do something different. So that was back in 2014 or so that I joined the program. And then just to finalize my contribution here is that it's been a very good thing for myself to be part of the Oracle ACE program, and now to be part of the Oracle Groundbreaker program as well. It's just a matter of having discipline, or that's my opinion, having discipline on taking time to write, taking time to contribute, taking time to help others. And then you will basically, as the name of the program says, which is the Acknowledged Community Expert, and then you are becoming that because you are constantly doing that for the community. So then it opens some opportunities to present in events, at Oracle Open World, for example, and then getting to know people that probably you will not have the opportunity to do so because of the events and because the relationship that has been created within the program. So it's been a quite good journey for myself. I really recommend this for my people, and that's something that I also been doing in my team. At least for the past 8 to 9 years, I've been nominating as well people, and at least 5 persons has joined the program. And for my company, we I think by 2015 or so, we were 4 ACEs in my company. So for a Mexican company, for a new company, if you will, that was a good number. So that's something that I've also been doing in my career. So that's what I can say now, Sai.
Yeah, thanks, Rolando. It's a great story. So I have a few questions I think we can take. I'm just basing on your background, what I know, I'm going to ask this question. So this question is for Edel. This is normally people ask, okay, we are doing too much stuff, in terms of writing blogs, maybe presenting in conferences. You need to put a lot of efforts to write presentations and all. So how you are managing your family life balance? Because I'm sure you have 3 kids, right? So how you're managing your family life, employer, managing ACE director, presenting in conferences. So how you're managing this?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy. I have 3 stepdaughters, but I also have a mom and a dad that they're quite old right now, and I also need to take care of them. It's not only from it's I think we all as we grow up, we are starting having more and more responsibilities with our family. So it's not easy at all. And when you asked me the first time this question, I said, which family life, right? But it's difficult. It's difficult. And sometimes what happens to me is that I have a lot of ideas of probably something that I want to write. Of one thing that I totally agree with Karen. And by the way, you can interrupt me if you want, just with Karen that said that someone's, you learn a lot when you prepare a presentation. When you prepare a presentation, for example, one thing that I usually do is starting from something that's completely new to me, or I have some knowledge but not the whole knowledge. So I push myself to start learning new stuff, and then you write blog posts and I start doing the presentation and everything, and then you have a question, as Karen said, and then you learn more. And maybe with the one question you have more ideas to the next presentation and things like that. So it's a lot of things that you want to do, but you need to deal with frustration that you cannot do everything, because there are some other things that are important too, and you need to have your priorities. So it's not easy at all, but it's something that you have to do. So I know people that they just work, right? And they just work and they put everything in the, they write it at night, and then I think that has a big cost for you and your family. And I don't want to do it. It's just like that. So I probably cannot contribute all that I want. I contribute the most that I can, not the most that I want. but it's something that I at the end of the day, I'm sure that I did something important for my family too. So it's tough. No, right now, there are times that you just spend more time in conference and presentation and everything, and then you have to, okay, come back and give the time that the people deserve, right? So it's not easy, but it's something that you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with your own frustrations. That, okay, I'm not a superwoman, okay, I'm a supergirl. I have to, I have a life. I have also to take care of my health. So this is something that you need to think about it. Yeah, but it's something that you have.
Yeah, I think one of the key message from your message is you basically, for example, you want to present new topic, you put things and you push your limits and try to learn things.
Yes.
That's really important because you are already in a premier position, right? People expect you become an expert, so you are actually pushing your limits and, trying to get that. That's a really wonderful message.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes, sorry, one small thing. Sometimes
sure.
You have companies that support you, and you can do some research in the time that you work. But for many of us, this is not possible. So you do your work, which is a very heavy work, and then you do the stuff. That is why it consumes a lot of your personal time.
Yes, absolutely. So thanks, Adel. Ron, so we know this program is helping in our career. I think when you put ACE director in your CV, I'm sure there is a benefit of getting a job. But how your current employer is supporting you, part of this? So what benefits they are getting? Are they using you as a front like a pre-sales person, or maybe how they are using your company, your current company, using Oracle ACE Director title? You're in mute, Ron.
Yeah, so I work in the office of the CTO. So I guess for Pure, it just adds another level of credibility. It reinforces that it's not just what I do for the company. It's also what I do for the Oracle wider community. That I support my local user groups and user groups across Europe. So my company supports me in that. They let me go to speak at events. I have to obviously work this around work commitments, like we all do. There is so many conferences across the planet. You have to be selective. We put in lots of papers to go to speak at lots of conferences. They don't always come off. You don't always get accepted for everyone, but sometimes you have to say, sorry, I'd love to come to your conference, but my work has to prioritize. So it's always a juggling act, whether work, family, conferences, content creation. I guess what I would say though, is for anyone that's thinking about joining the ACE program, don't do it because what you think you're going to get out of it. You've got to you've got to enjoy it. If, like Adele said, if you think it's work and you're working 7 days a week, then there's no enjoyment. If it wasn't for the ACE program, I would still write blogs. I get pleasure out of this. So I have a problem during my work day, and maybe I want to research it, or there's a new topic I read, and I think I want to learn a bit more about that. I think in IT, everyone who joins IT, we're an unusual industry because we have to reinvent ourselves all the time. So the skills that I joined the marketplace with 30 years ago aren't relevant anymore. The ways of working and the experiences are very valuable, but actually I don't see HPUX anymore. I don't program in COBOL anymore. So you always have to learn stuff, always, and it's that continual learning. And you need a company that supports that. But in whatever role you're doing in an organization, you can't just learn something and live on that for 20, 30 years. Definitely in IT, you want to be looking at what's coming over the horizon. Some things I've learned, and actually it was too niche, and it would never. I spent a lot of time learning Oracle label security. I did some presentations on Oracle label security, and I think I must have been the only person using it. So, so I never did those presentations again. But I still learned something by doing them. So whatever you learn, even if you don't use it in your day job, you don't use it ever again, it's still an opportunity to grasp something new.
Thanks.
Yeah. In
Thanks,
the
Ron.
UK, we have this idea of pass the knowledge. That's our motto for the UKUG. So it's all about learning something, learning experiences, and passing that around the community. So
Yeah, I think
internally and externally. So I think sometimes we can focus on our communities in our countries, but also I evangelize Oracle technology inside my company as well. So I bring in experiences that I've had at conferences, conversations I've had with people, and say, this is what other people are doing. We should be doing that as well. We should be thinking about this because this looks like an interesting trend.
Thank you very much. I think, yeah, it's very important, right? So, especially when you're employer, I think you said it's one of the extra title for me, but one of the key thing is, employers, most of the employers, they use ACE members as a friend people, especially from the Oracle practice or Oracle business, right? So they'll say, yeah, I think there are companies run by only ACE program, ACE members. So they'll get a lot of, advantage, right? So thanks, Ron, for sharing that one. So Michel, do you want to share like any unique experience as a becomer? Like, I think you traveled to India many times and Oracle you presented. Do you want to share anything unique, which really, you really, it's not professionally, but at least in personal level, do you think you got any benefit? Like, you really enjoyed meeting people, new culture you explored using this program. So you want to share something on that space?
Yeah, I said in my introduction, I love India and I miss it. But first time arriving there was really a culture shock for me. I arrived in Mumbai and I thought Amsterdam was crowded, but Mumbai was zillion times more crowded, and the traffic. I stood at the end of the side of the road and I tried to get over it, and I said, how am I going to do this without getting getting alive, staying alive? So that was really quite some experience for me getting there, but I really enjoyed the Yatra tour of last year in 2019, and I came back in December at Sangam. So those are a few of the highlights I can think of now. Another highlight is also that I'm as an Oracle fan and contributor, I also was invited to speak on an open source conference. So that was also for me, a highlight in China last year. So on KubeCon, and this was one of the things I enjoyed as well, because outside the Oracle world, when you look at like open source technology, then you're one of the many players. Oracle is one of the many players actually. So I thought it was quite unique that I could present some Oracle technology on an open source conference. So that was also quite a highlight for me personally. And yeah, meeting all the people. Sometimes you see on conferences, you see the same people, like Douglas Hood, which is also from Oracle. I've seen him last year on in Salt Lake City, and then I did saw him the whole year on every conference I attended. He was there as well, so we were following each other. So it was real fun. Yeah.
Douglas is really great supporter of our users group. I don't know how many of you know, Yatra last year we did 10 cities in 15 days. It was crazy. We thought that's a difficult one. I think the running a virtual one is very difficult, by the way. We are really sick. Just to give an experience, right? So Yatra we start in south of India, Chennai, starting from morning 8 o'clock. The flight is at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, depending on the last flight. And we land in a new city at morning 2 o'clock, check into the hotel, spend 2 hours sleep, 1 hour shower, means breakfast and shower, and get into the new conference. So it was continuous, and in that journey, the many people are sick, and so it was not easy. Yeah. So Karen, question to you. I think I'm more interested to know, since the woman in technology is coming, right? So it's not coming actually. See, we want to basically encourage more women's in India. They are like they are definitely leading position in India. But how do you balance, again, same question like Adele, how do you balance your family life, professional life, and also the yes community? Do you have any tips and tricks to our women in technology, women's community?
Um, I'll try. The main thing I can suggest is forget that voice inside that says you're not good enough. There's this very real thing called imposter syndrome. And when I heard about it, I'm like, you mean it's real? It's not just in my brain? And I think women in general, and I'm generalizing, tend to hold back a little and say, I'm not as good as the guys. Men in general are like out there. And I want any of the women out there that are thinking, well, I'm not quite as good, or I don't know, or don't listen to that little voice. Take the chance, just go out and do it. Talk to other women, talk to me, talk to Idol, because we have those same fears, and you just don't listen to that little voice and go out there and do it. And what that does is that enables other women to come forward and do things. And I try, and when I'm working, one company in particular, we had this meeting, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every morning, and there were 2 women in the group that were just silent. And I would go out of my way to say, hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And it's very easy to sit back and let someone else do the talking and listen to that little imposter voice. And I'm saying, you just get used to ignoring that little voice and speak up and go out there and volunteer, go out there and learn. Any one of us working in technology, we know stuff. If we didn't know stuff, we wouldn't have our jobs anymore. And we've all done something unique that somebody else has not done. So share that, and share it in a positive way that says, hey, I learned this, and I bet it'll help somebody else too. And that's how I get over that. And every presentation I do, don't get me wrong, before every presentation, I'm like, what am I doing here? And once I get talking, it's like, oh, that's what I'm doing here. I do know some things. I do. And, I'm just used to it. I get my little fear talk, and then I go, forget it. I'm going. And because I keep stepping beyond that, the opportunities I have now are really cool, which doesn't mean that there are times when my husband says, you're going again? It means I do have to take care of my inside. I have a whole nother community that I have to keep in touch with to stay sane on another side. And that means I have what other people would consider crazy hours. My husband goes to bed 8 or 9 o'clock. He's a fisherman. He's getting up at 3 or 4. I use that 8 to midnight, sometimes midnight 1 or 2. If you need to reach me, I'm always up at midnight. That's a good chance. Other people can't do that schedule, but I've made that work. Other people, I have 4-legged children, so fitting their walk in, and they're much easier than the 2-legged kind. But I have parents that are older. There were days, my father had Alzheimer's, that I was taking care of him and working in between. And I made it work. I went where he was. I worked around his hours, and because we work in IT, and I think it's amazing that the world is making this work. And our internet is up. Our internet can handle it. I'm very fortunate that all my clients let me work from home. That gives me many hours back, and that's a huge, huge thing. We have a fishing charter business in our home, and there's a lot of phone calls and a lot of scheduling and a lot of weather happens, and and having that flexibility of being home and taking those phone calls, and which isn't to say there aren't days that I have to say, close the door. The door is closed right now, and say, leave me alone. This is my time. This is my room. And, so it's challenging. It teaches me to manage time. The stretches, I every day I have to say, I'm going to do. There's I think it's a book, Begin with Yes. Instead of saying, no, I can't, start with yes, I can. It's going to scare me to death, but yes, I'm going to do it. That challenge of learning new technology. I was asking about Visual Builder. When would you use this versus Apex or whatever? And someone said, you should do that presentation. So here I am doing that presentation, and it's a really neat tool, and I've learned a lot. And now I want projects doing Visual Builder, and it's real exciting. But I had to get over that little voice inside that said, no, you can't, and say, yes, I can.
Yeah, that's a really great message, Karen. I think I like it. The little message we always we get, even not only for women, right? It's also for men. It's going basically from going out of your comfort zone, right? Go and go beyond your limits. That's where you see the success. Thanks a lot for your help and message to our community. Rolando, I think last question from. So you also run the users group. You run a similar Yatra tour in LATAM. How you're managing? What do you think? Are you going to continue this journey, or are you frustrated, or you're seeing anything getting benefit, or is it a passion? Go ahead and share with us.
Yeah, thank you, Sai. I can describe it somehow as a roller coaster, if you will. Sometimes you are pretty high in terms of the way that you are delivering things for the community, running the user group, because the final product is to deliver a successful event, if you will, right? So then you are kind of uphill, if I can describe it correctly. But sometimes it is frustrating to try to make something happen, and for some reason the contributors are not following you for any reason. So that's kind of the low part of the story, because this is something that we don't get paid for. That this is very volunteer work, and sometimes people is not just following that, is trying to get something out of it, is trying to make an event because they want to get more customers, for example. And since I joined the user group in Mexico, I knew that this needs to be something extra from my company, obviously, but something that can be very well distinguished in terms that I am not SPS. That's the name of my company. I am not SPS when I am running the user group. It is Rolanda Carrasco. And I need to divide that, because people, at least in Latin America, and I will say that it is in any part of the world, it's very easily to get them confused. Okay, so you are running this event because it is something for your company, and that is not true. That at least not on my end. So that's kind of the frustration that I get, because I sometimes realize that people is trying to move into that direction, and trying to get them back on track is a challenge. So that's one thing. The second thing is that now, not only contributing in Mexico, but thanks to the people in the community in Latin America, I just started to lead the whole user groups for the region. So now it is a bigger challenge, and it was kind of frustrating this year, because we were used to manage the events locally and in presence, and now because it is online, then we are not used to do this kind of events. That's true. So everybody has a challenge on giving ideas or sharing ideas on how to manage it. And the work that Sai and his group is doing, it actually has helped me a lot, because now I got ideas on how to deliver it. And now I just saw that it can be successful at the same time. So that's kind of trying to give you an answer, Sai, is I mean, it is a challenging thing, to be honest. It is a different thing of just doing the presentations and delivering presentations and sessions and writing blogs and books and whatever. But now it is managing people and managing the event itself and trying to get people involved with that and make it successful. Even from the venue point of view, when we were doing presence events, then that was even a harder challenge because we needed to get a venue. Then we needed to get the media or whatever we needed to present. And so it is a different type of work, to be honest. It is actually, in my opinion, it is something that goes beyond the technology. To run the user groups is something that goes beyond the technology. It actually goes through engaging with people and trying to convince them to join the group and trying to convince them to present whatever, because at the same time, everything is valuable in terms of the usage of the technology. Everything is valuable on that regard. Karen has just mentioned it. Probably someone is thinking about delivering a solution with Visual Builder, but they also have Apex. So if someone get into that session, now he has or she has now an opinion about what to use. But if you just realize about this idea, it is not the technical thing, but it is just making people realize that this is valuable, right? And I think in life, that's the challenge. You just interrelation or the relation with persons, that's in my opinion the challenge of the life challenge. That's what you are up to do in terms of bringing people together. So that's my get.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Rolando, I think I can also share the same pain, but we are top of the hour. So let me quickly walk through. So you guys can see my screen. So we have Adele. She shared how she is balancing her professional, personal, technology, all the stuff, right? So connect with her if you want to if you want to get some advices. Here is a Twitter, LinkedIn, and blog post. Thank you, Adele, for supporting and coming to this call. Really appreciate your time and support. Karen is really thanks to you. You're too little flexible on when we are putting the sessions, and you're really flexible to move the people between the 3 sessions. So thanks a lot for that, and sharing that little voice. That's really a key message for our community, especially for women's. Women. That's very important, right? You go out of this comfort zone and learn things, and that way we can. So hopefully we'll see more Oracle Ace members, women Oracle Ace members from India, by taking all your messages. And again, guys, you can see that Twitter handle LinkedIn here. Thanks, Karen, for your support and timing. Ron, thanks a lot again. A really great message from your employer, and it's an extra things from your side. And thanks a lot for spending your Saturday time and coming to this call. I know it's a Saturday afternoon for you. It's really time for spending time with family, but still you are prioritized to the community. So thanks a lot for coming and sharing your thoughts. Michel, I think Michel really likes, I think you should apply a permanent residence in India so that we don't require to call you again. So you can always stay in India. And yeah, so thanks a lot for sharing your story and journey experience. And here participants can connect to Michel. Here is a Twitter ID and the LinkedIn and blog post. And finally, Rolando, I think we both share same pain, but I'm lucky to have a really good team members here with me. They are like beyond my level. Basically, they're spending almost 20 hours a day to plan this event virtually. So I'm really grateful to have team members like Vinay, Aishwarya, Chandan, and Vinay Raj, and so many people. Actually, I can name it for like next 10 minutes. So thanks, Rolando, coming to this call and sharing your experience and the journey. I'll skip this one, but again, one of the important thing is know your speakers. We have a great people from Oracle community, Oracle developer community, Jim, Bob, and Javed. Especially Jim is covering a lot of interviews from the speakers. So I request the participants to basically go and check these videos are really important. It's very short videos, 20 minutes, but there are a lot of great messages. So please watch this videos. We are able to bring all the videos into this following link. Please go and watch. Continue your conversation in Twitter so you know how to connect these speakers and presentation material. This is not applicable to here, but scan this particular feedback, speaker feedback. For example, if you want to convey something to these speakers, we can definitely connect with them. And this is one of the way you can reach out to them. The other best way is to directly reach out to them and thank them in the Twitter. So with that, we have another final session coming from 9 o'clock. Quickly, you can complete your dinner and join back with a great line of speakers, the last session for today. So with that, I'm thanking everyone again, and thanks for joining Saturday, and we'll see you in half an hour time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sai.